Hello, I'm Kerri Bailey. I'm a biologist and a certified herbalist. Welcome to What is an Herbalist? This is my 5-part series on what is an herbalist, and this is part 1. I have this marketed in several different ways as a podcast where you can just listen to it if you'd like. I also have it as an educational tutorial, as like a PowerPoint that's recorded. I also have it as a PDF for those that just want to read. And you can find that on my website as well as other courses that I have that are free as well as paid. I developed this series for my students as well as those that don't know me because I can't tell you how many times in the past 30 years people have asked me, what is an herbalist? And they also ask, what do they do? So I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about what herbalists are. That's what this main one is focused on. The second one is about an herbalist medicine chest. So those would be the things that you would use, tools, ingredients, things like that to make products. The third one is about education and resources, different ways that you can find things and the different programs out there, the different jobs you can have as an herbalist. And then the fourth one is my biography, my background, my education, what I've done and what you could do in a 30-year span as an herbalist. And then the fifth one is my philosophy, my approach, how to use herbs wisely. So I offered this free because I think it's really important for people to understand this. Even if you don't become an actual herbalist, maybe dabble a little bit, or maybe you just want to have a better understanding of what an herbalist is. So join me as we continue on this journey. Okay, so what exactly is an herbalist? Herbalists are basically holistic practitioners, but they specialize in mastering the art of medicinal plants. So they know which herbs to use given a particular situation. They utilize several different factors in order to determine which herbs are best to use for a situation and which forms are best used for the situation. Herbalists help to educate others. They suggest the use of herbs or other natural substances or a combination of that again work best for a specific situation and for the individual because we're all made up differently. We have different body types, energetics, things like that. Herbalists may grow plants, they might do farmers markets, or maybe they supply herbs to people, but they're great assets to their family, their friends, their neighbors. And then if you decide to go on a more professional level, they can consult with clients, they can have a business, they can have product lines, they can work with other professionals, and we'll talk more about the different paths that herbalists can go on. Important thing is that herbalists know how herbs work. They're food as well as medicine. Herbalists understand the energetics of herbs, the energetics of people, and how the basic tastes can affect the body. Herbs also have actions and properties as well as traditional uses. So anyone can look up in a book and determine what herb might be good for a situation, but is it really? And because of all these other instances and issues, these help to determine what would be a best solution. Herbalists also understand and utilize nutritional and medicinal values of herbs, but how they pertain to a particular body system. And I think this is a really good way for people to learn not just what herb does what, but what body systems does that affect. So when you're thinking of the eyes, you're thinking of something for pain or um, your liver, whatever, those herbs will start coming into your head, and then you could start formulating a recipe or whatever you're trying to make. So unlike drugs, herbs work in three different ways in the body. Herbs, especially if we use them in more of a whole form, uh, they're going to either build or support the body or a body system, tissues, an area in your body. Or secondly, they might reduce or decrease a symptom or encourage relief like swelling or something like that. And then lastly, they may maintain balance in the body by giving it the building blocks it needs. That would be the nutritional value of what herbs have. So they all kind of work together. And when we just take out active ingredients and try to use herbs as drugs, they don't work that way. And oftentimes they actually might even be harmful. Again, that's why having a good knowledge base is really important. Herbalists also understand the best forms to take, the best way to take those herbs. They know how to choose those herbs and what would be the best way that they're being able to be taken. So, for example, I like to use willow a lot of times because willow is more water soluble, so that would be better taken as a tea or as a powdered herbal supplement. Willow's really good for pain. It's anti-inflammatory. Rather than taking it as an herbal extract, those constituents and the phytonutrients in willow does not extract as well in alcohol. So unless you looked all that up and knew that, I've seen a lot of willow extracts out there, and Meadowsweet would have been a better choice for that, as well as some other things that I would have added into the blend. So, the knowledge of an herbalist is really crucial to the natural health industry, as well as for holistic medicine. There's so many people out there with YouTube sites and websites and things, and a little knowledge can be dangerous. So, it's best to understand an herbal approach. Uh, Herbalists can determine all these different factors and why you should or should not take an herb. There's a lot of potential counter interactions with medications, or maybe it just won't, work with your body type. Just because you've tried something and it works well for you, that doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else as well. They could have pre-existing health conditions or, other things that you don't know about. So and the other thing is AI. I just wanted to mention that. AI can really help you to determine and gather information, but it's only as good as where it's gathering that information from. So it doesn't do anything discerning. And, so it doesn't take the place of a human when it comes to health and medical issues, especially. So really keep that in mind. It's really important. Herbalists know how to use herbs more effectively. They understand the doses, the duration. Herbs are meant to be taken either for long-term use or for short-term use. So lots of examples, but um, one for immunity, astragalus would be a great long-term immunity builder rather than when you're actually sick. Echinacea would be a better herb to take, and that would be a good one to take for 2 to 4 weeks or so, alternating if you need to take it again. But echinacea is not one that I would take for months and months and months, maybe for specific circumstances, but that maybe other herbs would be a better choice than that. So understand it's good to switch them up. We don't eat the same foods every day. We shouldn't take the same supplements every day. Also, the form. Um, there's lots of different ways we can take herbs. Herbal supplements, either capsule or smoothie mixes. Those are good for daily use or just when you need them, or maybe you just take them a few days a week. If you don't like to take capsules or pills, the smoothie mix is a good choice. Even if you don't actually make smoothies, you can always put in yogurt or oatmeal or something else like that. And you can mix other things in there like flax meal and collagen and stuff like that. So you can make it a really good nutritional supplement as well. Now, if you need things to happen on a more fast track, tinctures or extracts would be a better option, or they can be combined with your supplements. Uh, Tinctures are usually fast acting for things like if you need to go to sleep or relaxation, anxiety, maybe pain relief, migraines, things like that. Not necessarily taken every day, or maybe you take them for a period of time, or you just take them when you need them. Tea is one of my favorite ways to take herbs. There's so many different tea blends out there. They can be caffeinated and uncaffeinated. But herbal teas and just tea in itself, whether it's green or oolong or black, there's so many nutrients in it, and they can really help flush you out. They tend to be astringent, so they kind of shrink tissues. So really good to actually drink the tea rather than taking the single uh, green tea extract or those kind of supplements. The closer we are to the herb, the better it is nutritional and the way our body will accept it, rather than doing those extracted ingredients, single ingredients. Now, the other thing we want to keep in mind when we're using herbs is to use herbs seasonally. And every 3, 4 months, I would change up your supplement. So in spring, it's a good time to utilize tonic herbs, um, herbs like alfalfa, dandelion. Maybe they're, trying to lose some weight after winter, seasonal allergies. And then as we start warming up and getting into summer, we want to use more cooling herbs because it's warm out. So cooling herbs help to cool our body. Maybe we do things with insect repellents or maybe start growing some herbs ourselves. And then as the season progresses and we get into fall, we want to start utilizing more warming herbs and spices to kind of warm us up and get us ready for winter. And then in the winter, we can continue that as well as adding immune boosting herbs to help keep cold, flu, other sicknesses down. Maybe then when we start getting into January, so start getting into the detoxification and that kind of thing. And then we start over again in the spring. Herbalists might also specialize in specific groups of herbs, as well as how they might take the herbs, but they might be from a specific region, Native American herbs, maybe herbs from Europe, Africa, India, South America, Polynesian, or even modalities. So when I was in school, my herbalist instructor was Ayurvedic, so I tend to lean on the Ayurvedic side, although traditional Chinese medicine I also utilize as well as in Western medicine. So it's good to kind of have an overall view of what the different modalities are and how they can help to determine what herbs to take. So Ayurveda is based on 3 doshas, Pitta, Vata, Kapha, and ideally we want to be the equal parts of all 3 of them. And then yin and yang is the masculine, feminine. It's the duality, and we want to have equal parts of yin and yang, like the symbol. And when we are maybe more yang dominant or yin dominant, then we want to do the opposite so that we can bring ourselves more in the middle. Well as having kind of a speciality of what kind of herbs that we might like to take or what uh, style. Herbalists may also specialize in manufacturing and making their own products, have their own product line, whether they're ingestibles or topical, or maybe they like to recommend a specific supplement or type or a brand. They could even maybe even work at a specific natural health company. Some herbalists prefer teas, some extracts, powdered supplements, consuming fresh and dried herbs, which is more of a nutritional approach, or a combination. And I think the combination is a really better approach than just going with one. One is never the solution. It's diversity we need in our diet. and our lifestyles. That way we can get all aspects of the things our body needs. And maybe at some points, sometimes in our life, we concentrate a little bit more on some things than others. But that's why I said it's good to be able to switch up seasonally and how our body needs to respond. And as we age, we will need different things for ourselves. So the more we know ourselves, the better off we are. So some other factors about what an herbalist is what they do. Um, so I kind of defined a little bit about the different aspects of herbalism, but there's a lot of paths to being an herbalist, and that's what's really exciting. So what an herbalist does often defines what they do. So the path can be very winding. It can veer off in many directions. You can offer several different um, times in your life, different things that you might do, but there's a lot of career paths. So this is definitely an opportunity to expand maybe a current position that you already have, or something that you just want to make your own. Herbalists can do various things. They can write, they can help educate others, they can consult with clients or other practitioners or other professionals. So if you refer to part 3 in the What is an Herbalist series, there'll be more details on that. Some herbalists may manufacture products, create supplements, or other types of topical or ingestible remedies. Some may grow medicinal and culinary herbs, but what herbalists mostly do, they do a combination of these things. You don't have to just do one of them, although you don't want to spread yourself too thin. And over the years, you might highlight one facet over another, covering a range of topics and interests. And as your knowledge builds, your experience will build, and you might pick and choose a little bit more of the things that you like to do. So that's really cool thing about herbalists is that they have the unique opportunity to focus on the things that they love to do. And not a lot of people can say that. Now, there are also some limitations to what an herbalist can do. Unlike massage therapists, around the late 90s, they fought to get their accreditation and national licensure. But herbalists are not licensed in this country. Other countries, they are, especially in Europe. That's why there's so many different certificate programs out there, different names and things like that. So many herbalists might also have other forms of higher education or credentials that might be complementary to their herbalist training. Herbalists do not diagnose health conditions. We're not doctors. That's what also nurse practitioners do. But we do suggest the use of herbs. We can educate people on using herbs. We can create products for them to use and try, or for doctors or vets, veterinarians. Um, and if you notice too, when you buy a product or you read an article online or a blog, oftentimes there's going to be a disclaimer there, and it's important because of the FDA rules. So it's not uncommon to see that something like the following information has been used for educational purposes and not intended to diagnose or treat an illness. So when you see that, it's not to say that what the information you're seeing is not true. It may or may not. It might be embellished some, but or maybe it is true, but the FDA is not backing it. So you need to be careful that you don't want to get in trouble with them. So they're there to help us, but they're also there to monitor and make sure that our best interests are being served. There's many names for herbalists, and even the term herbalist is um, one that's been around for a long time. But many of these names have evolved from original shamans, medicine woman, witch, alchemist, apothecary. These names may vary from time to time, region, profession, and even in some areas, some small tribes and things, um, an herbalist is still the primary care person, but usually, we will work with somebody else, or we will have our own practice, so to speak. But there's many titles, names, and references out there that refer to being an herbalist specialist. A certified herbalist, that's what I have. A herbal certificate. There's master herbalist. There's functional medicine practitioner. They deal a lot with nutrition, health and life coach, nutritional herbal practitioner, many more out there. So I choose to use the term herbalist because to me it just encompasses all of it. Now, where do you start? Well, herbalist education level and knowledge base varies. The longer you do it, the more you're going to know. The more you're involved in it, the more you're going to grow. So we all have to start somewhere, but self-taught is definitely a good place to start. Um, Getting books out there, whether they're used new, if you like your Kindle, or Amazon's got a lot of books that you can view online, but um, there's a lot of herbal research out there, a lot of people on YouTube, but understanding your limitations, and it's good to experiment, but just because you've made something good once doesn't mean that you can start telling people, you know, give people advice, medical advice, because anybody can read a book, anybody can go online and Google things up, but there's a lot of factors, and the last thing we want to do is to give somebody a negative experience with herbs. So just know that, we've got to take our steps to learn, and education is really important with that. Well, your journey is definitely going to be unique. There's a long road to learning, and each of our paths are different. So just remember, take each step and build so that you can advance to the next level. We all start as a beginner, and then as we grow novice, we get more advanced, and then we can eventually be professional if that's what you choose to do. But regardless, we never stop learning or adding to our knowledge bank. Remember that knowledge is power. Use it wisely. And education and mentorship programs are really vital for development. There's many of them out there, and if you go to my third series there, I'll talk more about that. I also have my own certified herbalist program. If you're interested, it's at Pierce College, starting fall of 2024, and then it'll also be available online. So you can welcome to visit me there. And you can find me at herbalelementsacademy.com. And my email, if you've got questions, is herbalelementsacademy@gmail.com. You can also visit me on social media, Facebook, Herbal Elements. I also have Herbal Elements Academy. And then on Instagram, I'm Herbal Elements 1. And then I hope you continue to listen to my other series, the other 4 parts. Herbal is Medicine Chest, second one. The third one is Herbal Education and Resources. The fourth one, An Herbalist Path, my bio and experience. And the fifth one is An Herbalist Perspective, where I talk about how we wisely use herbs and my philosophy. Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Have a great day.